Our time's getting kind of short. I wanted to spend, can everyone hear me? Yeah. I wanted to spend a little bit of time, me asking him some pointed questions, and then you all having opportunity to ask him some questions yourselves. So I wanted us to talk a little bit. I know we've talked about these things, but an unreached people group, is there anyone in here that is not familiar with what an unreached people group is? It's fine if you are not. Raise your hand. An unreached people group is a group of people that has a Christian population of less than 2%. The reason it's not an arbitrary number that they have, that they've picked 2%. They've done sociological studies and different things like that, but it's a Christian population of less than 2%. It's an unreached people group. So when we say that India has the highest number of unreached people groups, that there are 941 people groups within the country of India that have a population, Christian population of 2% or less. That means that the church isn't large enough, the church isn't strong enough to be able to reach their own people effectively. So when we think of the United States having 361, 361, number 3 in the world, 361 unreached people groups, we're thinking not only of us, we're thinking of all of the peoples represented in our borders. What Kika is working with is legal refugees. A lot of us, when we think refugees, a lot of our minds automatically go to people who are crossing over our borders illegally. Kika is working with legal refugees who've gone through a process, who have been able to get here, get in within our borders in legal means, legal ways, and they have to even pay the government back for the plane ticket that they got to get over here. Yeah. They have how many days? 6 months. They have 6 months in order to get employment and pay that loan back, because it's basically a loan that the government gives them to get over here. They're given status that they're able to work, and all of the people that I witnessed, surely I didn't witness all of them, but all of the people that Jameson and Jeff and I witnessed while we were there were hardworking. They were the women and children were at home working on the house, and the men were out working. We missed a lot of the men. They're out working. They have jobs, and they're trying to pay back the government and supply for their families. So Kika working with legal refugees. He's working to plant churches with them. So I want us to talk a little bit about how is it that you work with the churches that have been established to send them back to their own people. So it's not like, so we have a missionary sending organization with the Southern Baptist Convention. It's called the International Mission Board. And we give money every year to the Light of Moon. We give money to the cooperative program to send people like us to people like them to plant churches and make disciples. Kika is working within refugee communities to send them back to their own people. How do you do that?
We start our first church, and when we start a church, we collect offering, and that offering we designated offering to send a missionary to the home country. So among the people group, Nepali people group, there are some people who wants to be a church planter. So we train them, those people, and then the church, Nepali church, will collect offering, and then we use that money, send them back to the home country as a missionary to reach their own people group. So we really want to build up the indigenous people to reach your own people and your own country. Right. And it's worked.
It works. So just as a matter of practicality, we coming from a Turkish context, or native Ocalans coming that, if you're from Ocala, you're from here, you're a Florida cracker, you're from this area, me, a Bayou boy from Louisiana, who's best equipped to reach Bayou boys from Louisiana? Bayou Boys from Louisiana. Who's best equipped to reach Turks? Turks. Who's best equipped to reach Nepali people? Nepalis. They're best equipped. They're the ones that understand language. They understand culture. They understand all these things. So I am an IMB missionary, and I enjoyed and love the International Mission Board. We should take up an offering and send missionaries to go church planting. But the best people to reach those people are indigenous peoples. These churches are being planted. These churches are being planted by Nepali people, run by Nepali people, and these are refugees, y'all. These are people that are making minimum wage, working, doing jobs that a lot of us don't want to do, so they're able to do these jobs. They come and they gather in home groups and they give an offering. They come and they gather in garages, as he was saying, and they give an offering. They come and they gather in church buildings and they give out of their meager incomes to make the church run and to send their own people back. So when we went send their own people back to church plant in their native countries. And so when we went, when Jameson Frederick and Jeff Kiefer and I went just to kind of do an exploratory trip, like what are they doing? Because you all know how much the greater Orlando area is growing. You know how much Tampa is moving out, and you know about Miami, and like Orlando and Tampa are kind of eventually they're going to meet in the middle somewhere along I-4. You know how these places are growing. We have the same opportunity, so that's why we went. So anyway, I'm preaching at this church, giving a message, and I noticed the whole time I'm there's a little jar up in front, right? Like I'm preaching just like this, and there's a jar sitting on the shelf right here in front of the podium. And I asked, what's this jar? And they said, that's our missions jar. And so they passed around to take up an offering at the end of the service. And after the offering was taken up, that pays for the building, that pays for the lights, that pays for all this stuff. After that, they then took up, among refugees, took up a second offering where people came down as they were able and put dollar bills, drop change in there. And this offering right here was to send their Nepali missionary back to Nepal for how long? A month, 2 months?
1 and 2 months.
1 or 2 months to church plant. So they're going back, and these people are sending their own people back to do these things. So these are healthy, good people. They're not asking for any money from anybody. They're in Dallas-Fort Worth, like the Buckle and the Bible Belt, outside of Nashville. But I mean, they are in the Bible Belt. Churches everywhere, big money churches. I'm just saying, big money churches. They don't get a cent from these people. They're sending their own people with their own meager means back to do work, and they're doing it locally. So there's that. So why